with the question, what's your dream? Maybe when you were younger, you dreamed of being a firefighter, a nurse, a teacher, or a pastor. Maybe you dreamed of owning your own home, traveling the world, or raising children who love God. There's nothing wrong with having dreams. Dreams give us direction. But sometimes dreams can turn into nightmares. The Bible warns us, some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. From 1 Timothy 6, chapter 10. That's a nightmare. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10 says, the lover of money will not be satisfied with money. That's a nightmare. Jesus asked, what will it profit them if they gain the world but forfeit their life? That's a nightmare. Today we're going to talk about how the American dream can become the American nightmare, and how God offers us something better. When people talk about the American dream, they usually mean the opportunity to succeed, to provide for their family, to have a comfortable life. And in many ways, that is a gift. I'm thankful. We are all thankful to live in a country where hard work can open doors. But over time, the American dream has shifted. It's become about having more. More house, more car, more clothes, more toys, more stuff. Success is measured not by who we are, but what we own. And here's the trap. No matter how much we get, it never feels like enough. I remember a conversation I had with someone years ago. He worked his whole life to afford his dream house. 5 bedrooms, a pool, granite countertops, the works. But when I visited him, he said, Pastor, I thought when I got this house, I feel satisfied. But all I feel is tired. I work harder to pay the mortgage. I worry more about losing it than I can even enjoy it. Church, that's how a dream becomes a nightmare. Part of the problem is that we live in a culture of instant gratification. If we want something, we want it now. How many of y'all remember layaway? Right? School clothes, Christmas. That was all in layaway. I wanted it right then. But my mom and my grandmother couldn't afford it right then. So we had to use layaway. But layaway has gone to the wayside and it's credit card. Commercials tell us, don't wait, upgrade today. You got a phone? Oh, there's a new one. And it's better. And it's faster. Yep. You got to have it. Jimmy has it. I want it. Just swipe the card, sign the loan, or click buy now, pay later. It feels good for a moment. Have that nice, shiny fame in your hand. But it often leaves us with regret and stress and debt. Proverbs 22, verse 7 reminds us the borrower is a slave to the lender. And I've seen too many families crushed by that slavery. We're going to talk about two illnesses that make the dream a nightmare. Affluenza and credititis. Affluenza is a sickness of always needing more. Bigger. Better. Gotta have it. It's new. It's shiny. In 1973, the average American home was 1,600 feet. 1,600 square feet. By 2016, it was almost 2,700. America now has over 2.3 billion square feet of self-storage. And when you drive around town, you see them being built everywhere. We've got so much stuff, we can't even fit it in our own home. A woman told me, Pastor, I have to rent a storage unit for my Christmas decorations. Not my furniture, not family heirlooms, just Christmas stuff. That's affluenza. And the tragedy is, while some of us are overwhelmed by too much, others in our own city, others maybe even in our own church, don't have enough to get by. Credititis. The second illness. That's the temptation to buy now and pay later. In 1990, the average credit card debt was $3,000. 1990, that's not that far ago. That's $3,000. Today, it's closer to $17,000 credit card debt. And when you put the interest on that, it's just going up. Studies show we spend 125% more when we use a card instead of cash. Why? It doesn't feel real. Just put this little piece of plastic on there. There you go. Doesn't feel like realistic. When you have to dig out your wallet and start pulling out that cash, seeing this amount get smaller and that amount get bigger, it hits you a little bit different. Car loans now stretch for up to 7 years. That was unheard of in our parents' and our grandparents' time. Mortgages are getting longer. 20 years used to be the standard. 15 years used to be standard. And you would have a mortgage burning party. But now most of us won't live to see our mortgage paid off. Savings accounts are getting smaller. If we have the opportunity to take the magic microscope and look at people's banking around the country, you would see that their savings don't have enough to make it a month in case of an emergency. That's back where we're at. I once counseled a young couple getting ready for marriage. They told me, they got a great plan. They wanted to start fresh. So they bought brand new furniture brand new appliances, and even a brand new car on credit. 6 months later, they're fighting constantly about money. They weren't fighting about love. They weren't fighting about faith. They were fighting about debt. That's credititis. So many families today are torn apart by debt. Husbands and wives can't have peace because they're worried about 1 month to the next because of debt for frivolous things. But here's the thing. Affluenza and credititis, they're not really about money. They're about the heart. We are created to desire God. But we have redirected that desire towards possessions. We are created to find our security in God. But we look for it in bank accounts. We are created to love people. But we end up competing with them. We're created for generosity, but we hoard what we have. The devil doesn't always tempt us with obvious sins. Sometimes he just says, buy more. Upgrade again. Keep up with the Joneses. And slowly, without even realizing it, we trade our peace, our joy, and our purpose for things that don't last. Jesus warned us in John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. The devil doesn't have to get us hooked on drugs or entangled in a scandal. All he has to do is keep us chasing the dream that never satisfies. John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, preached a lot about money in his time. He warned that wealth can be a snare. But he also believed that wealth can be a tool for God's glory. Wesley summed it up in 3 simple rules. Gain all you can. Work hard. Use your talents. Be productive. Save all that you can. Live simply. Avoid waste. Don't indulge in every desire. See, he was specific in every desire. Yeah, it's okay to go out to a nice restaurant. It's okay to have a nice date night with your significant other. We're not talking about those kind of things. We're talking about things that put you enslaved to somebody else for the money that you spent. And lastly, he said, give all that you can. Use what you have to bless others, to build God's kingdom, to care for the poor. Wesley never condemned money itself. He condemned the misuse of it. He taught that holiness isn't just personal, it's social. Our faith is lived out in how we treat our neighbor and how we share what we have and how we free ourselves from the chains of greed. Methodism was a movement of people who prayed together, held each other accountable, and lived counterculturally, choosing simplicity, generosity, faithfulness over the empty promises of wealth. So how do we fight back? The Bible gives us a cure. Simply a changed heart. Every day we must come before God and say, Lord, take away the desires that don't belong. Help me seek first your kingdom. When we do that, we start to see things differently. We realize that joy comes from not what we own, but from who owns us. We begin to practice simplicity, faithfulness, and generosity. With God's help, we can simplify our lives, silencing the voices that tell us we need more. We can live below our means, not above them. Use cash instead of credit. And man, that's a hard thing to do these days. It's hard. I gotta go get money. I gotta carry money. But if you do that, you notice you don't buy as much stuff. Those impulses aren't there. Build generosity into our budgets, blessing others instead of just ourselves. This is what Jesus meant by an abundant life. Let me share an encouraging story. A man in one of my churches before told me that he lived paycheck to paycheck, always borrowing from tomorrow. One day he realized that his kids didn't need more stuff. They needed more of him. So he and his wife decided to simplify. They cut up their credit cards. They downsized their house. They set a budget that included giving to church and to missions. At first, it felt like a loss. And he said, Pastor, I have never felt freer. I spend less time worrying about money and more time with my family. I feel closer to God than I ever have. Friend, that's the abundant life that Christ offers. Not abundance in stuff, but an abundance of peace, joy, and love. So let me invite you to do something right now. Place your hands on your lap with your palms open as a sign of surrender. And pray this prayer with me quietly. Change my heart, O God. Clean me out inside. Make me new. Heal my desires. Help me hold my possessions loosely. Help me to love you above all else. Teach me simplicity. Teach me generosity. And give me joy in following you. I offer my life to you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.